Alright.
It started in the Galactic Center. From there, the corruption virus rapidly swept across the galaxy, turning our own machines against us. Countless lives have been lost. Now, we are all hiding out here in the darkness. But some of us have decided that we will not go quietly into the night. We are gathering up crews of survivors willing to fight, and we are going to push back. Even if it takes us to the machine-infested center of the galaxy, our mission is clear. We will stop the corruption virus and put an end to the Legion of Steel. What we need are jump-capable ships, crewed by those brave enough to fight. Will you join us?
Alright, we are going to check out the new update. If Hey Sean, can you turn on YouTube real quick and check my channel, make sure this is coming through cleanly without issue? Alright. So the game was just updated. One second. The controller's wigging out. There we go, that's better. Okay. So, if you guys caught my live stream,
Interesting. Yeah, that's fine.
Is it pixelated?
Maybe a little bit, not bad.
Okay.
Stand easy, soldier.
I might see if I can have the resolution and restart. Sorry guys, I'm going to be right back. Okay, let's give this another try. Alright, so if you caught my live stream on Twitch, I've been gaming with my friends and I've accomplished a few things. I've opened up a new area and I've unlocked the new ship, the Dart, which, if you're not sure how to do that, go ahead and ask and I can throw it up. I'll also be putting some tutorials up here on YouTube and I'll explain how that's all done. At any rate, I'm right now trying to farm all the things that I haven't unlocked in the game, and if you look at these map places, you'll notice that it doesn't say if there's anything unlockable in these areas. It's because I've gotten everything out of there. Here in Atira, there's going to be components, and the Tibian Expanse, there's the components, and also the ship hull that you got to bring back the black box for the Dart, and it'll tell you that, as you see in possible discoveries on this area, it says there's 6 components and 6 map fragments to find. So I've already acquired all that from here, plus the ship hull. So for me to find more stuff, we'll be in here. And let's go ahead and open up with, this is one of the new missions that wasn't in the demo. It's a short one at difficulty 4. We'll do that. Right now I'm trying to save up ingots so that I can upgrade components. I need one more ingot, and then I can get the drift phase engine at Mark III. And one of the quests I'm working on requires that I get components to Mark III. So we'll be able to do that after this next mission, I believe, provided I get at least one component or one ingot. And I think the mission itself awards a couple ingots, so that will be guaranteed to be awarded, provided that I win the mission. Alright. Let me make sure everything's in order. Explain the dart real quick. It uses the same components as the catamaran. Your upgrades carry over. Right now I'm using the supply uplink unit, which just allows me to get a free supply drop. In mission, I won't be able to probably in this one since this has so few jumps, because it's dependent on jumps whether or not you can resupply. The drift phase engine, which is the starting engine, I've got it upgraded to Mark II. I've unlocked the mass ejector engine, which is slower, less maneuverable, and it allows you to fire off flares, which throw off missiles. But to be honest, in the dart, dodging missiles is pretty easy, so I'm not too worried about that. I'd just rather have this. There's another engine that I'm going to unlock soon in this area, probably, that is a lot faster but less maneuverable, and that one's a lot of fun, so I'll probably use that eventually. I think it's the Nitro Pulse engine. At any rate, frag cannons maxed out at Mark III. I don't have any of the other pilot cannons, and the dart can have two. So you see here, I've installed one, and one's still installed there. There's a second. The dart does not get a multi-turret system like the catamaran does, so this is completely grayed out. And then on special weapons, all I've unlocked so far is the Lance railgun. Unlike the catamaran, the dart only gets one special weapon. So for reactors, I'm using the solid-state reactor because it offers more protected squares than the split reactor. And on the dart, you have a lot fewer components on the dart, and so fewer squares is not too big a deal. On the catamaran, I oftentimes prefer the split reactor, but solid-state reactor is solid for the dart usually. And then biofusion generators, I have two of these equipped, and I have them at Mark III, so they give the maximum amount of spaces available. All right, let's break down the build. It will be modified as I unlock more. In the meantime, let's get this first mission underway. Anyway, feel free to ask questions or ask for me to try something for you if you'd like. If it's not something I know the answer to, I can test it. If you're just joining, we are just starting this mission. This is a sabotage mission. This is one of the newer ones that were added. They were not in the demo. Currently using the Dart, which is the new ship. This is only a 2-jump mission, so it's going to be by very quickly. Probably not going to get a whole lot of loot, but let's see. Anything interesting? Looks like they're all going to be space battle areas, no on foot, so we'll do that. Let's make sure the power grid's in order. That looks good. And let's get underway. So this is the latest patch that just went live. The devs just pushed it through, so we're going to be testing out things, and yep, one more jump so I can order a resupply. So I should be able to order a resupply at the final jump, final destination. We got some goodies here, lots of ships, some sentries. Let's see, heavy gunship. There's a Corvette, so we're going to get a new component. That's cool. Let's mark the heavy gunship and deal with that first. as a general rule, I like to deal with things I can destroy quickly first, so there's fewer guns shooting at me. Corvettes I tend to save for last, as they have so much health that you're going to get shot a lot by everything else while trying to take them out. So, dropping the small stuff first, then I'll worry about the Corvette. Okay, he's behind a rock. He's about to break cover now. That's another. Nice shot, buddy. Alright, that's down. Cool deal. And I'll check for materia after all the ships and sentries are down. Let's deal with this sentry. The sentries drop really fast, so if you get me in range of them, that's what I'd prioritize. And I'm not trying to hit the Corvette. It's just getting in my way. Boost to dodge the missiles. That's the Corvette. And this is the gunship. Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. Me jockeying around messed up your shot. Alright, cool deal. Getting hammered by the Corvette now. Let's deal with that. Ships are down. The dart is so maneuverable that you don't necessarily have to boost to dodge fire, but it can be helpful. And dodging weapons fire while piloting a ship is a lot easier in this build than it was in the demo. And the demo is next to impossible. I mean, it could be done, but it was really hard. Alright, let's grab that component. Now, when boarding a Corvette, I always board on the right side of the ship because there's more cover. On the left side of the ship, it looks the same, but you can't get behind cover as easily. Good job, buddy. Alright, face me. Give me your weak point. Whatever. Alright. So this is Diff 4, which is unfortunately the highest difficulty I have available to me. Oh, the Rapid Pulse Cannon. That's a good cannon. Glad to unlock that. Right, I'm upside down. There we go. Sorry, I was too busy looking at chat to see where I was going. Alright. Let's mark next destination. And let's get all the materia.
Check this out.
There's some right in front of me, which I'll see easily, and then I can head over and get that. And then I see the other patch marked over there. So, one way that I like to, when you're controlling, I use gyro as mouse with controller, so pretty easy for me to control. A lot of people have trouble with mouse and keyboard, or one thing tricks because the cannons will move before the nose of the ship does, and that can throw you off and feel wonky when you're getting the hang of it. Okay, he's behind cover. One thing that helps with that is if you're making a sharp turn where you're expecting the gun to move drastically ahead of the ship, which can throw you off. Yeah, it'll be 2 jumps. It's 1 jump before I hit the final destination. And highlights from today's release. You know what? I didn't get to watch the VOD as much as I would have liked. I was a little distracted. Basically, right now they're working on bug patches. They're trying to get... they're trying to make it where people are experiencing fewer crashes. So that is the priority of the devs right now, and it makes sense. I mean, quality of life stuff can certainly be added later. Right now, they want to make sure that it's functioning like it should. Especially for Xbox players. I don't think this patch was for Xbox players, but what they did say is that they're working on that. The problem with the patch not being live for Xbox players is that Microsoft has to approve the update before it can go through. So They are working on getting approval for the update. They are trying to help Xbox players so that they can experience this game as well as us on PCR. And there are some people experiencing crashes on PC. Interestingly enough, certain languages were having difficulty, so they needed to deal with that. And they said that they believe that's fixed. So if you have any issues and you were having that issue before, let them know. You can either let them know in their Discord or their other socials. So these kinds of events happen when you're doing really well, kind of blitzing through objectives and not taking a lot of damage, that kind of thing. These things will pop up to kind of try and make the game a bit more challenging. It's always satisfying when you're on a high difficulty and then you get a bunch of events like this happening back to back, and you're doing well. Let's see. Any upcoming releases that I'm excited about? Interesting. I will be covering more than Jump Space. Jump Space is certainly the focus for me right now, but I will be covering a bunch of other stuff. Monster Hunter Wilds, I've heard, is a buggy mess, but I recently picked it up and I plan to check that out as well. I love the Monster Hunter franchise, so we'll see how that goes. I've heard there have been a bunch of patches sent to it, so we'll see. I have no experience. In theory, my computer should be able to handle the game, so we'll find out. I'll also might check out Silksong. That's interesting. I tend to love indie games. Usually, I love the Monster Hunter franchise, which is definitely not indie, but most of the kind of games I typically play are indie games. So this has been my most anticipated game this year, so I'm excited to finally get to play. Well, finally get to play the early access. I was in the playtest, the beta, so I actually put about 111 hours into the beta, all told, between what it was doing. I got into the playtest, the beta, just before the demo went live, and that was the demo build of the game, which was turned back from what people who got into the beta earlier got to experience. And then the beta went live a couple weeks back, and I had about 20 hours in the beta before it got re-uploaded. That's a good artifact. And I put in about 90 hours in the past couple weeks. So let's see, I think I'm going to roll with that, because that'll make my opening shots very powerful. And if Buddy gets a railgun shot before I can get anything off, then things will probably just die instantly, mostly. Yeah, I do like the graphics on this game. I like the art style they've gone with. That's good. Silksong is the newest game by Team Cherry. They did Hollow Knight, and it's supposed to be really good. We'll find out. I'm interested. I really love Metroidvanias, and I like the difficulty that people are saying it has, so we'll find out. That's useful, especially for what we're doing in this mission. We're not going to be getting out of the ship mission in this mission much, so ship upgrades are a big deal. And not going to get a lot of artifact options, so unfortunately I'm not really going to get to upgrade too much. But let's see. I expect my shields to eventually go down completely and not be able to repair them. So let's just make it where I'm going to have more damage, period. Yeah, in the dark, the shields are... I'll show you. The shields are not super accessible. You have to come out this tube, and then you have to jet back here, or grapple here. This is also where your railgun is, if you ever have to repair it. And then, for the underneath, there is no walkway to get around. You just have to jetpack, which means the ship has to come to a stop. This is your scanner. Your materia filters are here, and your pilot cannons are here and here. So if you ever have to access those things, you really have to bring the ship to a stop. And this thing, it doesn't have near as much shield or health, so it's only got 2 shield units as opposed to the 4 that the Catamaran has. And the Catamaran at Mark 1 has 5 health units. This only has 4 so far and cannot be upgraded to Mark 1. So this thing takes a thrashing pretty quickly when you're sitting still. So you really don't want to stop mid-fight and go out and repair the shields. Usually it's better just to keep your hull healed up and ignore the shields until the fight's over. Think of the shields as a starting battle buff and then let them go. Silksong is a Metroidvania most people are aware of that basically if you like either the Metroid games or anything like that, it's kind of similar. Basically you're playing as a bug and exploring this dark, almost apocalyptic world. I'm not super familiar with the franchise. I've played like 15 minutes of Hollow Knight, and I plan to play more, but I really haven't gotten to it yet. Okay, so in this mission type, this is one of the new mission types, guys. You really don't have to get out of the ship much. You have to capture these points, and bots will try to recapture them, and you will have ships spawning in to stop you as you do this. Now, it all starts once you start capturing. So as I get close to sea, you'll notice that drop pods start landing, enemy ships land. The only reason to really get out of the ship is to grab loot from the ground. Now, why you don't have to get out of the ship is because you can just start showing them with the ship, and yeah, that's pretty effective. And that is not a bug or anything, that is intentional. So, looks like I've mostly dealt with the bots now. Word of advice though, do not rain fire on the platforms when you have friends down there unless you're trolling them, because the area of effect is massive. You will easily take out your friends. This particular platform usually has some good loot, so I'm going to take a look around. 2 shield units, I'll probably never get to use those, so those will come back with me as credits. That's probably everything here. So let's go ahead and move to the next point. As soon as I get to this next point, I'm going to start having enemies spawning in, ships and such. So B is closer, so I'm going to go to B. So yeah, loot's going to be easiest to find there. I mean, you can find it at these other platforms, but C is going to usually have your best loot. Not always, but often. Okay, and you don't even have to get out of the ship to capture the points. See, so I'm going to check this area for loot real quick, but I hear ships spawning in, so I can't take long. Here, Mark 0 Javelin. I already have a Mark 2. Alright, back to the ship. And you see I've already lost a shield unit because I'm a sitting duck and there are ships spawning in. I suspect the shields will go down reasonably quickly. I'm going to try and focus on capturing A, because that B is being lost. As you can see, it's being indicated. That's fine. I'll deal with that in a minute. And if you don't have at least 2 points, then progress stops. If you lose all the points, like I'm looking at doing here in a minute, then you lose progress. If you have all 3 points, then progress goes the fastest, but you have to have at least 2. Alright, capturing this. I've actually got radiation on the ship. That was a spider tank. It shot me with radiation. Okay. Alright, let's go recapture B. Oh, nice shot, buddy. Good job on that. Alright. It's contested, which means there's still something alive that I don't see. Causing... Ah, there it is. Walkers there. Alright, we got fires. I will have to deal with that. Unfortunately, Buddy doesn't deal with fires. Alright, the points are captured. Let's take out these ships. I'm sure more will jump in, but... Okay, he just went through the asteroid. That happens sometimes. Oh, good shot, buddy. Side peeked him. Alright, let's deal with fires. Buddy will heal my core if it gets down to 1 unit, so I'm just going to leave that to him for a moment while I deal with the rest of this. I got a hit. Oh, it's an invisible fire. Okay, it's done. Ammo in place. Yeah, it's cheaper to replenish ammo yourself. It's also cheaper to apply repairs yourself, because Buddy will only craft the single unit, which is cheaper in the short term, but costs more per unit ultimately. So, all right, this point has been captured. All right. Yeah, so this mission's over. I've already finished the progress bar, which means those other 2 points are safe and will no longer be under threat. So I can focus on taking out the enemy ships so that I'm safe, and then I can capture that final point. Good job, buddy. Okay, that's the enemy ships. So now I can go capture A, and then the mission will auto-end. So anything you want in your inventory, anything you want to keep with you when the mission's over, make sure it's in your inventory when you capture this point, because you will immediately jump to a cutscene. I have not checked that for loot yet. Let's see. I mean, railguns are fun. I'll take it with me. But I'll check for loot. I don't see any loot here. Okay. Some credits, that's about it. So yeah, the first platform is usually the best one for loot. And then we got the cutscene. And that is the mission. So that's how you complete that mission. That mission is really difficult if you're trying to take everything on ground, on foot. If you just shell it from space, it's so much easier. Okay, we got enough for that upgrade I was trying to get. Good deal. And that'll complete that objective, which hopefully will unlock more. It'll also unlock a new cosmetic upgrade, I believe. So let's go ahead and upgrade the engine. Nice. All right. Ship max speed is 120% now, and ship boost recharge is 5, which is good. Ship turn speed is really high, so that should be an engine really good for the dark, keeping it agile.
Hey, how's it going?
Right. Probably need to talk to her.
Whenever you've got the ingots for it, consider upgrading some components to Mark III. It would make me very happy.
I just did, but you're in...
Put to good use.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I can't say I was thrilled about
Okay. Well, if I do another mission, I'm sure it'll complete that. It's just not updating right now. Which, I'll make sure that Devs know about that. That's probably a bug, but that's okay. It is early access, so... We already got one more component. You notice we no longer have 6 components in this area that we have to find, but 5. Didn't find a map chart, but I'm not surprised. That was a really short mission. Let's do one of the longer ones. Let's do this artillery support. Show you guys what that's like. That's another one of the newer mission types. Different characters you can play as. You only have one character, your character, but you get to customize your appearance. Eventually, you will be able to have buffs on the suits that you pick. So they said they were going to be small buffs. They don't want them to be game changing because they don't want to lock anybody out of doing any role. So I mean, because the buffs will be minor, you could possibly, pick whatever you think looks good and not worry about the buffs and just have whatever buffs buffed. Or you could potentially pick something that enhances what you're good at, which could be good for team play. Or potentially you could, pick an outfit that'll buff whatever you're bad at. Because, we've all got our strengths and weaknesses, so... yeah. And if you're asking about what our characters for Silksong, I forget what her name is. But there's a character that you're set to play as. Okay, we got a map chart fragment. That is definitely where we're going. There's also a trader outpost. As much as I'd love to show you guys that, I'm going to grab the map chart fragment. But trader outposts, he sells... This is a safe zone. He sells artifacts. Artifacts are what power up your ship and power up you and your runs and are not persistent after the run. For 100 materia each, you can buy several different artifacts off of him. No, for this game. Okay, yeah. No, just your character that you start with, and you get to customize your appearance. You get to choose male or female voice, and that can be changed at any time, depending on your preference. And your appearance can be changed at any time. As long as you're in the hangar, you get to change it. Builds are basically masculine and feminine looking, and you can mix and match whatever you like. So for each suit, there's two options. There's the masculine looking one, which is just thicker, and then there's the feminine one, which is a little bit curvier. And then you can choose a masculine and feminine voice. There's only two options right now. It's just the masculine and feminine. And then for helmets, there's 4 different suits. There is the starting suit, which is the standard suit, which actually looks pretty good. It's supposed to be an all-arounder suit. Like I said, they don't have stats yet, but they will eventually. Then there's the engineer suit, which, as you can imagine, is for those who like to repair stuff on the ship and manage things on the ship. There's the hazard suit, which is supposed to accommodate things like radiation, to protect you during radiation leaks, etc. And then there is the, I want to say military suit, but I know that's not the right name. Anyway, combat suit. The combat suit is my personal favorite. I haven't unlocked it in this yet. I had it in beta. The combat suit is... Okay, let's go get this break taken care of. The combat suit is supposed to be really armored and protective. So, good for when you're on foot fighting bots. I think it just looks cool. Plus, the on-foot combat is some of my favorite component in this game. So, each suit has a male and a feminine option, and then each suit has 3 helmets that you get to pick between, and they're all unlocked. In the demo, if you played that, they were unlocked by purchasing them with credits. That is no longer the case. They are now unlocked from completing objectives and requests that people ask of you. For example, my favorite combat helmet, which is basically the sniper's helmet, it is unlocked by doing a favor for Vex. She asks you to get 20 aerial ground units, critical hits with a marksman rifle, and you have to take them out with that critical hit, so critical kills. basically, some of the ground units are flying. Some of the small ground units are flying units, and you've got to hit them right in the eye, basically, in the criticals hit area, which will be their eye will be red and easy to see, so you'll know what you're supposed to aim for. That's probably one of the hardest pieces of gear to unlock, in my opinion, because you specifically have to use the javelin, the marksman rifle. And so that's dependent on whether or not you've actually found the marksman rifle, whether or not you can even do it in a mission, and then you've got to get 20 critical hits with it, so 20 critical kills with it. Most flying units will go down to a single marksman rifle critical hit, so making those crit hits a kill is pretty easy, but it does require precision. And I guess the hardest part about that is simply having to have a javelin on you to complete that objective. Others are a little more lenient. An example would be Richter. He asks you to, for the next combat helmet, he asks you to take out, I think it's 10 ships with a rocket launcher or railgun. Now, railguns can only be found in mission as loot. However, rocket launchers can be crafted for just a little bit of materia at the assembler. So, having enough rocket launchers which rocket launchers are easier to take out ships with anyway, having enough rocket launchers to get that objective and get that helmet is not too big a deal. One of the last ones you'll get is a helmet specific to radioactivity for the hazard suit, or at least it was the last one I got in the beta. And basically, you have to put radioactive rods into the ship's disassembler. I was using the dart exclusively when I got that one, and so I was like, that's impossible to do solo because radioactivity only appears on the ship if you're playing multiplayer. And I thought, maybe radioactive fuses that you can find in certain sectors would count, but you can't even put those into the disassembler, so no, they don't count. I brought it out in feedback to the devs, and they're like, try overcrafting one of the beers on the catamaran. And they were right, that did the trick. What I didn't realize is that when you are crafting a beer, if you take it into the red while making it, instead of beer, you'll get a radioactive rod. So, yeah, if you are... let me show things right. No. Okay. If you are trying to get that particular objective for that helmet solo, then fly the catamaran into a mission and just overcook 10 beers and throw the radioactive rods into the disassembler, and you will nail that objective. It's actually really easy when you do it that way. And a beer only costs 5 materia, so for 10, that's 50 materia. So really not the end of the world. Okay, to the loot area. So that one is probably actually the easiest to get once you know what you're doing. I was a dingus and had trouble figuring it out, but once the devs steered me in the right direction, that was insanely easy. So, artifact, friendly fire, which is really good in multiplayer. Only good for an upgrade now. Ooh. Flak launcher, turret launchers. Okay, that's a new component for me. So right now I'm trying to blitz unlocking all the components so I can start upgrading them all, and especially the ones I really want. Oh, I parked the ship in a terrible place. Yeah, ideally, especially in multiplayer where you've got friends that could be or randoms that could be irritated by your placement, try to put the ship where it's easy to jump to from the loot zone so that you can if you have to make multiple trips, it saves you time. So this new component that I found is specifically for the catamaran right now. It's a multi-turret system, and the Dart does not have multi-turrets. So that is not something I can install and try out and show you guys. Basically, the way it works. Okay, well, that's somewhat useful to me. Basically, the way it works is.
I've detected new jump drive jammers. We need to destroy the source before we can make a jump.
Okay, give me 1 second. Losing my train of thought because ships are jumping in. So, as you can see, the Dart absolutely shreds things with its dual front cannons, which makes this ship the best dogfighter in the game. The Catamaran can ultimately be just as powerful after enough upgrades. The Catamaran's really good, especially in multiplayer. I love both ships, but if you want to do a lot of dogfighting, such as when you're in solo play, the Dart's really good for that. It's also pretty ammo efficient for the amount of damage that it puts out, especially if you have the rapid pulse cannons are pretty good. The bolt accelerator, which I have not unlocked yet, the bolt accelerator cannons, if you're a good shot, they're a really powerful cannon. They have really slow rapid rate of fire, and so one of the issues that people are running into in the beta is, got a couple snipers, is that they were missing their shots with the bolt accelerators. They felt that they sucked. The reason is because they fire so slowly. If you're trying to track a moving fighter, for instance, then by the time the guns actually fire, you may not still be on target, and so you'll miss your shot. To prevent that, I would pulse the cannons, treat them like they were semi-automatic rather than full automatic. And so I would only pull the trigger when I had a shot lined up. And that way it was guaranteed that I was going to get the shot off when I was lined up for the shot. And most small things, fighters, etc., will die to a single shot from the bolt accelerators, especially when they're upgraded. And so you really only needed one shot. So just holding down the trigger made no sense. It wasted ammo and made you miss most of the time. Yeah, this is the Dart. No, they're set up for randoms. When you're playing with randoms, you join lobbies. There'll be lobbies available, and I might be able to show you that right now. I don't think so. Server browser. Yeah, you go into server browser, and then there will be lobbies available to you, like this, and you can even refresh by pressing R on mouse and keyboard. And I can join any of these that, you know, it's not going to show you full lobbies, but you can see these say 1 player and 3 out of 4, 2 out of 4, etc. This is in progress, which means they're in a mission. This is in hangar, which means a mission has not been started. And yeah, that allows you to go through and find randoms you can play with, or you can make your own lobby. Make public lobby and then update settings, and then people will be able to join your lobby just as I was showing lobbies that I could join. The way it works with other players is that you usually have different people doing different jobs, and no one's locked in any specific role. Me and my buddy were playing last night, both of us on the Dart, and we were quickly hop swapping between whoever was closest. If I was closest to the pilot seat, I took the pilot seat. If he was, he took it, and then the other would hop on the guns and manage repairs. So being able to quickly swap between roles is nice, especially in a pinch. So you're not locked in any specific role, but if you and some friends are playing and one of you prefers piloting or gunning or whatever, and you got the rest of the crews would rather he or she do that particular role, then by all means pick roles, but it's not required. and they want to keep it that way. That's why they're intending for the suit enhancements the perks that you get from the suits. They don't want them to be drastic upgrades because that would basically lock you into a specific role, and they want to avoid that, which I appreciate. Being able to get nice buffs from your suit would be pretty cool, though. So now these jump beacons, I'm trying to take them out quickly because they will call in enemy ships. I may or may not make it to that third one in time. We'll see. Actually, it is behind terrain, so I'm not going to be able to reach it. All right. Okay. No big deal. These enemy ships will probably drop materia anyway, which more is nice. See, there it is. Alright, enemy ships dealt with. And in the dark, getting jumped by a bunch of enemy ships really isn't a big deal. Tips for the dart. Tips for the dart is don't repair the shields mid-combat. Repair the hull instead because the hull is reachable by your friends. If something, say the railgun, gets damaged and you have to repair it before it breaks, then the dart basically has to come to a stop for them to be able to get to the bottom and grab materia or to the top and repair things. So ideally you want to have somebody who's efficient at maneuvering around the dart to be the one going out repairing stuff and grabbing stuff, and then have the pilot come to a halt temporarily while they get to the destination and then start moving again quickly because you're sitting duck mid-combat. Like I said, don't bother with the shields because that's just a waste of time. You don't get a lot of shields on the dart. You only get 2 units instead of 4 like on the catamaran. And stopping to repair the shields mid-combat, you are honestly going to take more damage than you're going to prevent from repairing the shields. So it's not worth the effort. Alright, I'm going to craft an on-foot ammo crate and take it with me in this ground area. There's no, see, there's a health station. There's one health station on the dart. Now, the catamaran will also have 2 ammo stations. For 2 materia, you can top off a gun at those ammo stations. There are no ammo stations on the dart. I'll give you a quick look around. Pilot seat is here. If you are doing 4 players with the dart, there are extra seats here for people to sit. There is the combat station here. All these are safe places to sit during a jump to prevent dying in the jump. Your materia break for your disassemblers here. Your Mac is here. Assemblers here. Scanners are here. This is a point where radiation can leak. The other point where radiation can leak is here. You've got radiators here and radiators here and here. Those can break and start fires and need to be repaired. Your jump tube is here. This is where things get teleported to. Your only shelves are here. Your fire extinguishers are here. And here, there's 2 of them on this ship. Artifact cabinet is here. Iris is here. Core repairs go in there. Components. Your drift phase, your engines go here. Your reactor goes here. Your generators go here and here. This is where you replenish ship ammo. And then your power grid is here. So that is everything there is to know on the dart's interior. I'll show you the exterior real quick. If you come out and grapple here, this is where the railgun or your secondary is going to be, and your shield units are here. Down below, your material filters are on the bottom, your pilot cannons are there, and your sensors there. So that is everything to know about the dart. Everything that could be relevant to you. Looks like there's a weapon over there. See the outline. I think that's everything. Nope, I see something there. And there's one of those little fire spiders that is inside the ceiling. Interesting. Now, it is early access, so, okay, it's not a weapon, it is scrap. If I have enough materia, I don't like to break down scrap. I like to just save it for the credits it'll give afterwards. Credits are not useful currently in the game. they are going to be adding vendors to the hangar, and you will be able to purchase weapons, materia, artifacts, things like that to take with you in your run. That's what credits are going to be used for, and they'll be useful for that. In the meantime, there's no use to them. I'm just stockpiling them. Hopefully progress won't be reset. I can't guarantee, but I wouldn't expect it to be. But yeah, ship handler. Nice. Have Buddy send that back. Right now, I'm just kind of stockpiling credits for when the vendors become available. Oh, Mark II Iron Belt, or LMG. I usually just call it the LMG. It's faster. But full name is the Iron Belt LMG. It's basically just a full auto machine gun. If you enjoyed the side clip in the demo, the side clip is still in the game and still craftable. The Mark Zero is still craftable at the assembler like it was in the demo. The side clip has less recoil than the LMG, and I think it fires faster, but the LMG hits a whole lot harder. And yeah, I personally prefer the LMG to the side flip, but I mean both are good. All right, now a little movement trick. See if I can pull it off. Okay, we got baddies in the way. Let's see if I can deal with those, and then I'll show you the movement trick. Yeah, okay. When you're carrying something heavy, you can't run. So use grapples, jump, double jump, and you will fly. And you can kind of b-hop by continuing to jump after to keep your movement. And that allows you to just, I'll show you the side clip. Side clip is good. Because it is a rapid fire weapon, it's not going to hit as hard as, say, the javelin or the halberd for that matter. However, it is pretty powerful for its rate of fire. As you see, I'm just eating through this spider tank. Cool deal. Oh, something else is showing me. Okay, cool deal. So yeah, one tip is while you are... Oh, laser. Let's get to cover. It is harder for the baddies to track you on foot when you are jumping and hopping around, so take advantage of that. One little tip about movement. If you are in the air, say you've done your double jump, and you hold down the jump button for PC players, that's space. On controller, I think that's A. Then you will hover, which allows you to keep your momentum easier. So you'll actually just kind of hover in the air for a distance if you hold down and jump. And the principle I talked about when fighting ships holds true when you're fighting ground units is too. The smaller things die faster, the fewer things shooting at you, the less damage you will take. Lots of people will instinctively and understandably go for the heavy units first because they hit like a truck and are dangerous. But honestly, the small units are still dangerous, and if you drop them first, then you have less shooting at you while you deal with the big, dangerous, like this spider tank. And as you can see, I was aiming for its center eye, which is a critical hit when you're hitting that red eye. There's actually ships on that balcony that I was going to go to. Oh, let's go this way. I forget what difficulty this mission was. I think it was like 3 or something. On Diff 5, perhaps just ignoring the enemies and running to this is not a safe idea in solo, but the enemies will continue to spawn until you get all the batteries in, so the faster you get that, the fewer enemies you will have to deal with. So that's kind of a good deal. If you're playing multiplayer, lots of enemies are respawning, so it's good to have 1 or 2 people dedicated to running batteries and getting that done as quickly as possible. And then have the rest of the team covering them. Okay, well, my LMG is pretty well out of ammo.
Grabbing ammo.
Let's go ahead and top everything off. Got enough to do that. Okay, so that magazine is full. I'm used to the Mark III LMG. I've used that a lot. It has a larger magazine, so that was what was throwing me off. But yeah, if you were to use this movement, the grapple technique, you release the grapple before you hit the grapple point. Otherwise, you're just going to land where the grapple is, and you're going to lose all your momentum. So before you get to the grapple point, jump, and then double jump, and then hold the jump button. And you will fly a long distance really quickly. Credit case, artifacts. I will check out what those are back at the ship. More credit cases. So credit cases can be broken down from materia, or you can keep them on the ship, and at the end of the mission, they will give you a ton of extra credits. Like I said, credits are not useful at this time, but they will be as soon as vendors are added to the game. Alright, cool. Now we're heading for the map fragment. Let's go ahead and put this LMG up. Let's see, what is this artifact? When a ship is boarded and destroyed by self-destruct, all players deal plus 20. That's really good if you're going to be doing a lot of boarding. Uninstalled artifacts are no longer destroyed during jumps. You know what? I really think just feeding all that to the one I have right now is going to give me greater damage output. So you feed artifacts to an already installed artifact to upgrade it. You see this one's already maxed out because it only has 4 upgrades. Some can't be upgraded at all. They're already at max strength as soon as you get them. And some will have maybe... favorite gun in this game? The Javelin for on foot. Favorite gun for the ship? I really like... For specials, the railgun, a lot of people hate it. I personally love it. You just got to be really accurate with it, and then it's really good. I am good at hitting things with it, so I enjoy it. Another really good option is for a special. Eventually you will unlock, I don't have it yet, but you get the missile launcher. And basically what that does is it locks on to multiple ships, and then will fire missiles that will auto-track them and do a lot of damage. It is a very ammo-hungry special, but it is a very powerful special, and it's really good for people who have trouble aiming with the railgun. The other 2 specials do not do damage. They are actually unique specials. There is the shield, which I forget what the exact name is, but it is a temporary shield. You activate it, and it protects you from fire for a moment, such as sniper shots from enemy ships. And then... the other one is the targeting module, which allows you to lock on to a single ship at a time that debuffs it. And that debuff makes that ship take a lot more damage from each shot. I think it also makes you more accurate, and it pairs nicely with the targeting sensor. The targeting sensor allows you to... I'm going to call it a resupply because I have the resupply sensor. It allows you to target the ship just like the targeting sensor and have a similar effect, which they can be stacked, the targeting sensor as well as the targeting module for the special weapon. When you go on a resupply from the resupply sensor, the resupply sensor every few jumps lets you order in a resupply. Another Mark II Iron Belt, LMG, and yeah, most missions you're only going to get to call in 1 resupply because it requires so many jumps, but it will tell you how many jumps. On longer missions, if you call it in when it's available, as soon as it's available, you might get a second resupply before the mission's out. I always forget to call in a resupply, so I only ever get 1 per mission. But yeah, see, there's no way I've only got 2 jumps left, and see, it's gonna take 3 jumps to be able to order another resupply. So that is the only one I'm getting. For pilot cannons, though, my favorite pilot cannon, this is the starting cannon that I have. This is the gun that you start with, the fragment cannon. It's really solid. I mean, it's an all-around gun. It's very useful. The rapid pulse gun, I also have that. It's really effective. It doesn't fire quite as fast as this, but it hits harder and takes a little less ammo. The bolt accelerators fire extremely slowly. I think they were people's least favorite in the beta, and they were my personal favorite. But I like precision weapons, like the marksman rifle and the lance railgun, weapons that people typically are not fond of. And you basically had to use the bolt accelerators like they were semi-automatic, and then they were really good. They were the most powerful cannon in the game. And then they were also the least ammo-hungry cannon in the game. And then there is, well, second least ammo-hungry in the game, cannon in the game, because they're also the laser cannons. And I forget what their exact name is. I haven't unlocked them in this yet, but they take no ammo at all. There's mining lasers for the multi-turret system, for the CAT, and for the guns, there is the laser cannon. And the laser cannon is the weakest hitting cannon out of all of them at base. But it has the highest rate of fire, and it consumes no ammo. So in builds on the Catamaran where your other things are taking up a ton of ammo, or perhaps you don't have as many spaces on the power grid because all your other things are taking up a ton of space on the power grid, the lasers are really good because they take up very little space on the power grid. I think they were like 2 blocks, and that was it. They can be really powerful if you get artifacts that buff the rate of fire. If you get artifacts that buff the rate of fire, then the laser cannons are probably the most powerful cannons in the game, but they have to be buffed to do that. At base, they are the weakest, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to get an artifact that's going to buff the rate of fire, so oftentimes you will find that they are just the weakest in the game. The trade-off being that they expend no ammo. So, and it's the same thing with the mining lasers on the multi-turrets. They also expend no ammo. They are weak, but they can be buffed to be very powerful. So,
I've detected jamming signal emanating in the area. We can't leave until it's been taken offline.
all right, let's take a look at what we got. We got weak fighters, and there's a galaxy map. Yay! All right, elite gunship. It'll take a little bit of fire to go down, but it'll still go down fast enough. I feel like targeting that first is probably going to be advantageous. I know I generally say go for the weakest thing first, so that you have fewer guns shooting at you. But with the setup I have on the Dart, that elite gunship will not last very long. It'll go down fast enough that I don't think I necessarily need to target something else. So that's the general rule in most games. You target the weakest thing first, or whatever you can drop quickly, to limit the... okay. That actually might deal with some of these ships, or at least do damage to them. Where's it coming from? Okay, it's coming from there, so if I get behind this, in theory, I should be safe. Okay, fire detected. No longer taking damage. I think. Am I still taking damage? I might be. Yeah, it looks like my shields are going down. Fires are still spawning, so yeah, I'm still taking damage. Maybe I'm not far enough behind it. Let's try that. And turn the ship. Okay. So the solar flare is over. Let's put out the fires, and we should be good. Okay, cool deal. Like I said, those kinds of events happen because you're doing well. So, alright. Let's reevaluate what's left. Let's see. Yeah, only the gunships survived and the Corvette. All the fighters were taken out by the solar flare. Convenient. That actually makes this slightly easier for me. Alright, so yeah, see the elite it was damaged by the solar flare. It only took like 2-3 shots to drop, so. Alright. Where was that Corvette? I don't see it, but I know it's still there. There you are. And it's right by some materia, so I can grab that too. If you're wondering how you ping things, you ping things by center click on the mouse wheel, on mouse keyboard. On controller, I believe is right on the D-pad, might be down. Try them both. Try them out. I do know it's the D-pad. As I'm using a controller that I have mapped to mouse and keyboard commands, which if you want my layout, it's for either Steam Deck or controller. I have uploaded it to the community. I find it particularly useful for this game. It puts it so there's only one duplicate. In controller, typically, there are duplicate commands on several of the buttons, and I personally find it can cause me problems. A good example is that X on the Xbox controller is both your grapple and your interact and your reload button. And so a problem I was running into early on in the beta was that I was pressing reload after I had ducked behind cover, and instead of reloading, I would grapple back out into the midst of the combat where I had no cover, even though I had just ducked behind cover. So I remapped it so that I had as few duplicates as possible. I had to make a Steam layer that is activated by holding down left bumper, which pulls up more commands for the face buttons, such as jumping in the ship is C, which I have mapped to holding down left bumper and then pressing the A button. That's also how you turn on and off your flashlight. However, reload I have mapped to a macro on the controller, and then I have interact on X like it was on the standard controller. And that way I'm not accidentally grappling in the middle of combat when trying to reload. Galaxy map, nice. Oh, there's a weapon here. What we got? Rogan. Okay, cool deal. So longer missions are going to grant you greater rewards. Shorter missions are good if you don't have a lot of time, and it'll tell you how many jumps you've got. So let's put this where it's safe, and I'm not going to accidentally disassemble it. Ammo crate. Let's put that over here. Shield units. I already have one that's partially used. Some tips for navigating the dark. People find it difficult to get to the exterior to repair things. Usually the easiest way is if you come up here, you notice if you press F, you go into the periscope where you can launch by pressing Shift or whatever your jetpack button is. And then if you press Q, which I'm not sure what it is on controller, then you just do a quick launch, which puts you right above the ship, and you can quickly grapple to where the shields are repaired and the special is. Also, jumping out like that, stuff is on the bottom. When you are facing the front of the ship, it is always going to be on your right that the entrance is. There's only one entrance to the ship. It's right there. And when you are jetpacking, an easy way to guarantee that you are getting to the door is to be hitting the thing in the center. If you can look, you can see there, center. If for some reason you accidentally grapple to the wrong thing, you can disconnect and then reconnect here. You disconnect by double tapping jump or space or A. And then, so always look for what's on the front of the ship. The entrance is always on the front of the ship. It won't be in the center of the ship. It'll be in the front, and it'll be between the other grapple points. Makes it a little bit easier to see where you're coming. So if the ship looks like it's slender in profile, then you're aiming at the right one. If it looks like it's wider, then you're either looking at the top or the bottom and need to adjust accordingly. So those cues help me to know that I am heading for the door, and say if it's only showing you the grapple point for, say, the top, like it was there for me a moment there, whereas I was flying I could only see that. As you get closer and you readjust your aim, you can make that come up. If it doesn't come up, though, make the grapple point come up for the door. If it doesn't come up, though, a little trick is to, as you're flying, exit flying real quick and then look, and usually that grapple point will appear. These are little quick tips to help you quickly navigate getting in and out of the dark, which people have found to be an issue. Personally, I think it is warranted because with a little practice, it's not that difficult to manage getting in and out of the ship. Repairs. The problem is when you're having to do it in combat, it can be a pain. Okay. Am I safe here? Yeah, I appear to be safe here. Okay. Cool bit. Alright, so the issue here is that let's take that for fun. I don't expect heavy units of this difficulty, but we'll see. So you see the glowing red eye on this. This is the flying units I was talking about. If you hit the center eye, which I did not there because he jocked to the side just as I shot, but if you hit the center eye with the marksman rifle, that is how you unlock the helmet for that Vex gives you. These cap too, by the way. Those are really easy to hit the center eye on because that's pretty much all they are. Those little drones that'll... Ooh, I hear a laser. That is a sound you want to pay attention to. These things will eat your health so fast. They're also really easy to hit center eye on. I don't like to waste weapon ammo on these things, personally. The pistol, the multi-tool will drop them really quickly. These weak points. Oh, there is a heavy unit. Okay. Well, you guys get to see what the railgun does. You charge it up, and then fire. And you can see that did over half its health. As soon as he drops his shield, good boy. Okay. And the railgun gets 4 shots. Its primary use is for taking out ships, but it's also, it and the rocket launcher are both really good for dropping heavy units. Be mindful with the rocket launcher. Friendly fire is a thing with the rocket launcher. Most guns don't do friendly fire in this game, but the rocket launcher is an exception. Also, ship guns, like I was showing in the sabotage mission I did before, that you can shoot the bots off the platforms with the ships. You don't even have to exit the ship. It's convenient, but it does have friendly fire. So, I see that was a crit. That would have counted towards that helmet unlock. Crits give a specific sound, so listen for the sound. They also do drastically more damage. Now, on these flying units, like I'm dealing with now, except for the laser bot drone I'm about to take out, those go down in a single hit. That one go down in a single hit purely because Buddy was already shooting it. Those are usually at least a 2-shot on most difficulties. I'm not sure that they spawn on some lower difficulties, though. I know there are some bots that won't spawn on, say, Trivial, which is difficulty 1. Oh, and those flying bots that spin up, like this one here, and then they chase you. You don't even have to necessarily shoot them. You can just get behind cover and they'll blow themselves up, and then you don't have to deal with them. Saves ammo. Alright. So I'm just taking a quick look around to see if there's any goodies. Because once I activate this over here, the objective, this thing will start to self-destruct. And I have a very limited time to grab supply loot off this area. So I'm just taking a quick look around, make sure there is no loot. There will be loot behind the door there. Let's see, yeah, I can get up here. Some of these areas have places that you can parkour up. Okay, so I will have... I'm going to send this back to the ship so I got an inventory space. And then me and Buddy are going to go grab the loot. Good shot, Buddy. Alright, and you can start sending things back with Buddy before, or grabbing things before the crates even visually are open. So, take advantage of that. Okay, there's the grapple point there, so that's as fast as. Alright, less than 30 seconds. In theory, the ship should not take damage from the explosion while it's on the landing pad, but you can still take damage inside the ship when the explosion goes off. But if you have time to just get away, why not do that? Alright, everything is topped off on the ship. Let's make sure there were no artifacts I'm going to lose. There were. Heal on melee kill. Oh, I personally love this one. It does extra on-foot damage based upon how much materia you have stored up. So what I think I'm going to do is just feed these to that to power that up. And I actually have over half of the possible inventory for materia filled up in this ship right now. The Dart can only hold 600 materia at a time. The Catamaran is capable of holding 1,000. So, got some repair units. I am not shy of repair units. At this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and scrap some of these for materia. Just give my weapons a boost with that. I don't usually scrap these unless I'm low on materia, but with that artifact that boosts damage based on how much materia I've got, why not? So this is the ribbon I've used part of. Let's leave that in the front. Is it there? Well, the one I haven't used, let's stick it on the shelf. Damage amplifier. Yeah, that's gonna have to go here. These are actually really good. They put up a field that calls all your weapons to do extra damage, which makes even the pistol quite powerful. So if you want to drop things fast, those are really good. They can't be crafted, but if you find them, you can use them, or you can just leave them on the ship for credits or scrap them for material, whatever. Shields are also really good. I don't have any, but they look like this, but they're blue, and they'll put up a protective shield around you, like a bubble shield. And if you stand in it, you can't be shot, which is great. But you can shoot out of it. You also can't shoot through it if you're on the outside of it, which is worthy of note, because it blocks all fire. So it'll block your fire too. But if you're inside, you can shoot out. It's similar to the Gunner's Shield at Deep Rock Galactic, if you are familiar with that. Yeah, pretty cool. They can be useful. I personally usually am running two guns. Right now, I've got a Mark II halberd and a javelin. And if I'm going on something heavy on foot, I'm going to bring an ammo crate, honestly. So I don't have any room in my inventory to bring one of these. But if you're playing multiplayer, let's say you have one person bringing an ammo crate, one person bringing stems for healing, which can be crafted, med stems. They can heal twice. I think they heal 50 health each. And then you can have somebody bring shields or damage amplifiers. I mean, and then you can really just bring the hurt on the bots. So, things you can take advantage of. Like I said, for me, not really useful in single player because of the way I play, but, experiment, have fun. there's all kinds of options, and definitely useful in multiplayer. So. Alright, I believe we were doing an artillery mission, so it's actually really good, the artifacts that I've gotten, and that I have as much materia as I have. So, I'm going to explain how this mission works currently. I'm sure they will tune it, and this will be outdated information eventually. Currently, when you jump in, there's going to be 2 materia floating around ship remains, and then there's going to be a cannon. There are 3 cannons, and you have to capture those cannons to attack the enemy fleet. Here's the cannon. It'll become indicated as I get closer. And my recommendation, if you are playing multiplayer, have somebody stay on the ship to pilot the ship. If you got the catamaran, somebody to manage the guns and do repairs. If you are doing, and then have 1 or 2 people doing a hot drop as you fly by. I wouldn't say park the ship, but as you fly by, have them jump from the tubes, the ejection tubes, and go down and take the cannons. Each time you claim the cannons, they do damage to the enemy fleet. As you can see in the top, allies are in green and enemies are in red. Right now, and this is the way you're always going to start. Your fleet is taking damage from the cannons, so your fleet is lower in the progress health than the enemy fleet, and that's always the case when you first enter one of these missions. The cannons fire pretty much as soon as you land. This cannon does. The other 2 are not online yet, which is good. And that guy is something that's really cool. He's called a disruptor. What do we got? Another Mark II helper. I have one already, but those are good. I'll grab it for creds. So you clear the area out. The faster you are, generally the better. And then expect enemy units to hassle you. As you can see, I'm not even having to hit crits to one-shot stuff. Okay, so that guy's called a disruptor. I didn't really give you a good look at him. I'll show you the next one better. They're pretty cool looking. They're specific to this mission, but they're what are claiming the cannons. Now you can hear the cannon dialing up. When I capture this point, it's going to fire, but it's going to fire on the enemies. And so you'll watch that red bar drop a little. There you go. So every time you capture a cannon, it's going to fire again, and it's going to do damage to the enemies. If you fail to take a cannon back when they are capturing it, because this cannon will become, the enemies will drop here and try to reclaim this cannon. If you don't take it back in time, then it'll get a shot off on your allies. So you kind of have to stay active. And you see I'm on a timer. Ships are spawning in. After you claim the cannon, ships start spawning on a timer. And they will continue to spawn. The ship will take damage when you park it to deal with a cannon. So ideally, in multiplayer, don't park. Just have somebody do a hot drop. They can land on the ship mid-flight when you call for a pickup and get ready for the next cannon. As you can see, I'm at over 500 materia right now. That's good. Now, the ships do not drop materia infinitely. In the beginning, most ships will drop, that you destroy will drop materia, and that's helpful. However, after you've destroyed a certain number of ships, they will stop dropping materia. So this mission does kind of have a timer, because you've got to not run out of ammo or ship health before the mission ends. And also, you're on a timer because the enemies are going to continue to reclaim the cannons, and you've got to take them back before they destroy your fleet. So, strategies that will speed the process up for you are generally a good thing. As you can see, I'm at max materia right now, which is great. Sometimes these missions don't have very many jumps, and when that happens, cannons, you don't have time to stock up material like I have here. Getting materia starved in this mission in particular can be an issue. Especially in solo play, and I'll explain because I'm going to show you when one of these cannons becomes capturable again, which it will after fighting these ships for a minute. Okay, our cannon just fired again, and now the remaining cannons are available. There's one right here. So ideally, when you're playing solo, you're going to ignore the ship. You're going to land the ship, and you are going to ignore it. Buddy will repair the ship once it reaches 1 pip of health left, which may give you anxiety, but it's necessary. Just don't worry about the ship. Enemy ships are going to continue to shoot your ship while you deal with the cannons. You are on a time constraint. Reclaiming the cannons is what progresses the mission, and you need to progress the mission quickly in order to win and not run out of materia. So, ideally, I'd say deal with the cannons and ignore the ship taking damage. Like, you can see my ship still taking damage from enemy ships. Now, this is a lower difficulty, so it's not taking damage fast. On high difficulty, it really is. Okay, now this is a disruptor. They're kind of cool looking. Anyway, goodbye. Alright, so reset the energy conduit. And move to the last energy conduit. And as soon as I claim this, the cannon will fire on the enemies again. Alright, we're doing good. And I'm not going to fuss with reloading ammo. I'm not going to fuss with fixing shields or the ship hull. I'm going to let Buddy take care of all of that. As you can see, I have tons of materia. I've got tons of core repairs. So even if I run out of materia, I've got tons of core repairs to keep the ship alive. My job is not to worry about the ship right now. My job is to worry about the cannons. In multiplayer, you can multitask. In solo, you have to just focus on the cannons. Buddy will keep the ship alive. That is his job right now. You are on a timer, basically, and the faster you take care of these cannons, the faster the mission ends. And the less likely you are to run out of resources and die. As long as you have resources, the ship will stay alive. Okay, got a lot of flyers. Okay, so one of the cannons is about to be under attack, it says. Alright, we captured this cannon. So enemy fleet takes damage. Alright, now I've got time between enemy ships coming. I'm going to take a few seconds to repair the ship's core and replenish ammo, since I've got the time to do it. And ships are spawning, so let's not be a sitting duck. So back in the beta, the ships just never stopped coming, and now it seems like they've got a little bit of a break, which is nice. That's something I hadn't experienced yet, so that'll make this a little bit easier on solo players, because that was pretty intense, not gonna lie, and you specifically had to figure out the strategy of just ignore the ship, deal with the cannons. I still think that is the play, but having a little bit of a break where your ship's not taking tons of damage is convenient. Now, as you can see, the ships are no longer dropping materia. I've destroyed enough of them that they're not dropping materia anymore, and that's how you get materia starved, is because the ships just stop dropping materia after a while, and what you've got is what you're going to have. Cool. More ships coming in. Alright, heavy gunship. When shooting the ship's guns, if you're shooting that reticle that's above the ship, this in front of the ship here, that's basically indicating how far you have to lead your shots to hit them. Also, if you shoot directly within that reticle, you will get a critical hit. And same with on foot, critical hits do more damage. Okay, that's your job, buddy. Thank you. Also, that reticle popping up only pops up if you're in range. So if you're not sure whether or not you're in range to hit the opponent, then that reticle is a good thing to look for. Okay, we got a Corvette. Let's deal with these ships first. Okay, the cannons are dialing up to fire again. And we still have all of them claimed, so we will be damaging the enemy fleet, which is useful. Now, when you have a friend on the railgun, the more you are dodging around and moving around, which is easy to do in the dark, but the more you're bumping around, the harder it is for your friend to hit shots with the railgun. It's like you can see Buddy's missing a lot of shots. Because the railgun will move when the ship moves, and so your aim will move as the ship moves. If you are on the railgun, a good way to try to mitigate that, okay, one of the cannons is under attack. A good way to mitigate that is to wait until after your pilot moves, does a turn, and then line up your shot and fire quickly. And that can help, because they're less likely to make a quick turn after making a first quick turn. Not guaranteed they won't, but it can help. Also, the reticle that shows how far you have to lead your shots with the cannons does not work with the railgun. The railgun fires much faster than they do. And so if it travels much faster, the shot does. And so okay, another cannon being affected. I'm gonna ignore as many of these enemies as I can help. And as you can see, there's still ships attacking my ship. I'm taking damage, but I'm just completely ignoring it. Because Buddy will keep the ship alive. I don't have to worry about that. My job is the cannons. In solo play, that's how you have to play if you want to win this mission. Because if you're not claiming the ships, then your fleet is getting hammered, and you're wasting time, basically. I think it's on the other side, isn't it? So I could just... yeah, there it is. Disruptor down. Flyer down. I actually couldn't see when I landed that shot. My screen flashed. Okay, cannon captured. Alright, so the cannons have only got to fire one more time and then we win this mission. Oh, nope, that's it. Good job. Alright, and we're out. Nice. We got 4 ingots. And a new component, I believe. Gained a fair amount of experience. Yep. Cool.
Good. Just those Mark IIIs are ready to go. I'm sure they'll help you a lot on your upcoming missions. And not gonna lie, it's nice having some shiny new toys to tinker with. It's an engineer thing.
Okay. Oh, I got the engineer spacesuit fully unlocked. That's cool. Let's check that out.
Nice. If you squint, the dents are barely
So, I got all the helmets for the engineer suit. So this is the male engineer suit that I have on here. This is the female version. You can see it's just more slender, a little curvier. And then I have this helmet. I have this helmet. And I have this helmet, which is the one that Barrett's wearing, I believe. So cool deal. So I got all the engineer helmets. Alright. Base suit looks like this. This is what you start with, and you have the female version. And I've unlocked this helmet so far, which is very similar to the starting helmet, but it's a little different. It's got some differences. Hazard suit looks like this for the male, and like this for the female. And then this is the helmet that I've gotten for the hazard suit so far. This is where the combat suit will be. So that's cool. If you're wondering about this helmet, this was a gift from the devs for beta testers. So that is specific to beta testers for you guys, unfortunately. I'm sorry. But yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Very cool. Let's see. I think, guys, I'm gonna do at least one more mission. See if we can unlock any more components. Let's see. We did sabotage. We did artillery. Could do distress call or cargo ship raid. We got to mark difficulty 4 distress call. So let's go ahead and do that mission. I'll show you the components I have so far. The standard sensor, sector sensor, you start with that. Then there is the supply uplink. Currently, sensors can't be upgraded. This one was the one that allowed me to call in a resupply after a certain number of jumps. So far, engines, I have the base engine, which I've got fully marked, upgraded to Mark III, drift phase engine. It's a good all-arounder. I've unlocked the mass ejector engine, which allows you to shoot off flares, although it's a bit slower and doesn't turn as fast. The flares throw off missiles, blocks. And then the fragment cannon, which you start with, I have it at Mark III. And then the rapid pulse cannon, which I absolutely love. So you know what, I think I might start upgrading that. That's a really good cannon. And then I've got the assault turrets, which you start with. I've got the flak turret launchers, which they shoot explosives, but don't really hit targets specifically. They're more like an area of effect. So they're good for dealing with large crowds of enemies, not so good at dealing with a single target. And then Gatling guns. These are your rapid fire, high ammo consumption, high damage turrets that you can get on the catamaran. They are probably the most powerful turret system. But, like I said, very ammo hungry. And look at the power slot. They take up 7 slots with their plug, so they can be difficult to fit into your ship, into your power grid. These others take up a whole lot less. So, still only have the railgun. I'd like to get that into Mark III. So far for reactors, I have the split reactor, as you start with. I have the solid state reactor, which was in the demo. The null wave reactor, which is really funky shaped, but could be good for certain builds. And then I'll have another one here, but I don't have it unlocked yet. And then for generators, all I have is the biofusion generator. I have that maxed out, but there are 2 more to unlock. As you can see, there's nothing here yet, but as you see, undiscovered component. So that's how you'll be able to tell if there's a component to find for that particular type of thing. Like, In the sensors, there's 3 sensors right now. There isn't 4. And same goes for generators. There's 3, not 4. The rest have 4 that are possible to find.
Glad to see you.
All right. Let's go ahead and get the show on the road. I'm hoping to unlock the combat suits soon. That is my personal favorite. Wait. I meant to check and see if there were any missions, objectives to complete for unlocking stuff, but I forgot to check. So I guess I'll have to wait till next time. I absolutely love this game. I put about 30-ish hours into the demo while it was active, and I had about 20 hours in the beta just before the demo launched, because I got into the beta just before the demo launched. I was late in, and the build I had was the demo build, so what you experienced in the demo was what I experienced in the beta before you. And then I had about a little over 90 hours in the beta after it reopened a couple of weeks ago. That's what I've accumulated since then. So in total in the beta, I had 111 hours. So I have experience. I've unlocked all the components. I've got myself to max level, which max level is 10. And there's another map fragment. This is go on foot. This is go in space. I don't know. That seems fun. Let's do that. And I'll have to go to the safe zone, which you guys get to see that, which is pretty cool. Okay. Everything looks solid. Let's make the jump. I'm not sure how much time I have in early access so far, as it's only been out for a couple days, but it's close to 20 hours already. I've played quite a bit. I see some materia over there, and I see some enemy ships off in the distance. I always do that in the dark. There's that little railing right by the pilot's seat. I always... Snipers, okay. I always get caught on it when I'm trying to run to the sensors. Right here. It's not really a design flaw. It's a me problem. It's just me being silly. Okay, that's a Corvette. Let's deal with the fighters. That's a sniper. He's at some distance. He's gonna shoot, and now. And that's how you dodge snipers. You boost when they get their lock on you. And they have very low health, so if you catch them, they go down fast. They're also pretty easy to catch with the dart. The catamaran has a little bit of trouble up until you put the nitro boost engines in it. Same thing, he's gonna snipe. Turn my ship so Buddy's got a shot with the railgun. Okay. Should get a new component here. It's pretty much guaranteed that you're going to get a new component on your first component of a run in an area, in a region where you don't have all the components unlocked yet. And like I said, you know whether or not you have all the components unlocked by looking at the region on the map. It will tell you if you have any components, map fragments, or ship hulls to unlock in that area. Currently, the only ship hull is the... Okay, little tip. You can move around more or less freely when you are doing an energy conduit. What I ideally like to do is to step behind cover. You can also extend that beam for a long ways. So it allows you to snag a hold of it, then position yourself into cover where you're not getting shot. If there is no cover, oh, new reactor, cool. if you don't have cover and you're taking fire, then ideally what I like to do is hop around and move constantly back and forth, which will make it harder for you to track for the enemies to track you with their shots, which is something I've discussed when moving around while firefighting, but it still applies when you're doing an energy conduit, and it can help you to take less fire, which makes it less likely for you to go down while you're dealing with an energy conduit. So think tactically and position yourself in a way where you're going to take as little damage as possible, and just don't stop moving if you can't. And honestly, from playing Deep Rock Galactic, I learned on higher difficulties, higher hazards they call them, you learn to never stop moving, and the same principle is pretty applicable here. So when you're in a firefight, take advantage of cover and stay on the move. A cool thing that they've added to this game, which I absolutely love, is the enemy ground units will now jump over cover. That wasn't a thing before. Yeah, they would just go around the cover. Now they will actually just jump right over it and come to you, which I think is pretty cool. This means that you have to watch on more dimensions than just the ground. Alright, we need shield units. Yeah, first time I saw the ground units jump over cover, I was like, wait, what? I really thought that was cool. It was took me by surprise because I had like 100 hours in the game and I'd never seen that before, and then suddenly they started doing that. That was a pretty neat addition. So okay, now for the objective. Now, similar principle applies here as what I was talking about in the last mission, is that when you are doing one of these objectives where there is a countdown timer, you are on a bit of a timer. There are going to be breaks in the override, and you will have to deal with those breaks. Enemy ships are just going to keep spawning until the override is complete. So, ideally, you want to deal with the breaks ASAP so that ships will stop spawning. Otherwise, you'll just run out of resources trying to fight it all off. So, deal with ships when they're in your line of sight. Deal with the breaks. Prioritize the breaks. And then, yeah. Once the breaks are dealt with, then you can focus on the ships. You will conserve ammo that way, and your ship hull will take less damage that way. Now, it looks like the video is pretty compressed. I'm getting a lot of compression from what I'm seeing on some weird textures and stuff. From what I'm seeing on my feed here, I've got my own feed going on my desk here. That's a sniper. It's an elite sniper. Those do a lot of damage. Let's deal with that. That's another one. Okay, I used up my boost too early. Okay. Because the snipers do a lot of damage, I'm going to finish that off, then I'm going to go deal with this break. Then I'll deal with the ship. Okay, break is done. Ship's off behind me. Okay, he's definitely behind cover. Let's turn so Buddy's got a shot. Okay, he's down. Drop materia. Nice. Alright, there should be a new break soon. Now, in this area, there are places where you have to go on foot to take care of breaks, but that will only happen in multiplayer. In single player, all breaks... Good shot, buddy. All breaks will be something you can deal with from the ship in single player. Okay. In this game, prioritize the objectives whenever possible. Dealing with enemies is important, but dealing with objectives saves time, ammo, and will end enemy spawns faster, so you'll have fewer enemies to deal with. Did you hit him, buddy? Can't see. No, looks like you missed your shot. Okay. No big. We'll deal with him now. Oh, you hit that one. Good job. Cool deal. Alright. I don't think we're going to have another break. Okay. And no more ships are going to spawn in. So we are free to head to us. Got some artifacts. This is small ship repair. Okay. Let's see what our artifacts were, and then I'll worry about ship repairs. Because they may have a bearing on what I choose to do. Oh, that one's really good. So this one just basically buffs any artifacts beside it. So I usually stick it right in the middle, and I try to leave the middle open for this artifact specifically in case I get it. It can be upgraded once. Right now it gives +1 level to an artifact here and an artifact here, and if I upgrade it, it'll give +2. Let's see what else we got. Gain damage per empty power grid slot. Now that one's really effective on the dart. So you see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 spots open. So that is 11 spots on the power grid that are going to give a damage buff. And see, this one's already upgraded 1 level. And that is plus 0.2 damage per square that is open, and I have 11 of them. So that is several times damage boost. This one is also pretty good. When the shields take damage, the ship core is healed by 10 HP. I like that, but I am going to... I don't want it in this slot, just in case I get something really good. I'd like to leave that spot open for the buff. And because I got that, there's not much point in me repairing the shields, the core health right now. Because if I just install these shields, the core will be healed in the process of the shields being damaged. So by the time the shields go down, my ship hull will be at full health. So using a repair kit just doesn't make any sense. It would be wasteful. I do have a repair kit. I'm going to stick it here for later. And I heard a Corvette spawn in. That's going to be components. Now components, if you bring them back to the hangar, they award ingots, which are used to upgrade your components. So even though I found the one possible new component already, I'm going to go ahead and deal with this. Now, as you can see, as my shields are taking damage, my core health is being brought up. Alright, cool. Alright, let's go board that. Grab that component. Nope, I'm on the right side. More cover. And I'll demonstrate what I'm talking about there. The right side has more cover than left. As soon as I've cleared out the baddies, and I'm not being shot at. Okay. So this is what I mean. Right here, these protrusions, you can get behind them on the right side of the Corvette. on the left side of the Corvette, there are the protrusions, as you can see, but I'm not fully able to get behind them. So things can still shoot me from behind the protrusions. Whereas on the right side, they come out further and I can get all the way behind them. So if you need to duck behind cover and protect yourself, the right side is safer. Now be mindful that heavy units such as spider tanks and such can spawn on Corvettes now, and flying units spawn on Corvettes and can fly over the cover and still hit you. So I'd say prioritize taking out the flyers. Walking units will not be able to hit you until they get around to the cover. Yes, I selected destination, and we got a galaxy map in the next area. There's some materia. And it's time to jump. I need to replenish ship ammo, and I can put in a new shield. I had to step away. Objective of this particular mission, let me check my galaxy map. I don't remember which one I was doing. I think it's a cargo ship raid. Let me see. Lost sector, mission objective location. Oh, yeah, okay, this is a distress call. So basically, there's a friendly ship under fire. We are going to rescue it, and that is the objective, is to rescue the jumps we're doing in between are just to build up materia and supplies. And basically places we have to go before we can get to the ship to rescue it. So we got materia here, galaxy map here. There's a sniper, and a sniper. There's also some elite units. The elite units have more HP, they are more accurate, and they hit harder. They are random spawns, I believe, although you will get more of them the higher the difficulty of the mission. And I don't remember what the difficulty was that I selected on this mission. I think it was difficulty 4, but I could be wrong. Max difficulty right now is 5. During the beta, people found this game to be too difficult, so the devs dialed it back a little bit so you don't find as many Diff 5 missions, which is a bit of a bummer for me. I mostly played difficulty 5, but especially I've got almost 20 hours under my belt now, and I haven't been able to play a single difficulty 5 mission since early access launch, so there's none on the map for me. There will be as I unlock more, so I'm looking forward to that. In the meantime, I'm just enjoying the game as it is, and I'm sure as updates are added to the game, more difficult things will be added, which I'm looking forward to. We know that there's going to be new mission types and stuff, so there'll be plenty of fun things to do. I'm not worried. The devs have been very good about quickly patching problems that we ran into during the beta. On Reddit, those of us who were in the beta were talking about these devs are good at fixing these bugs. They're quick. They respond to player feedback, things like that. And then people were like, this is their first game. How can you say that they're good at fixing bugs? It's like, well, we've seen it. Yes, it's their first game, but several of us, quite a few of us, I mean, I think there was over 1,000 people at least in the beta. Several thousand, in fact, I think, but I could be mistaken on that. Regardless, that got to experience this game, and so we got to experience bugs that you guys don't see because they were dealt with. The bugs you're dealing with now are either bugs that the devs simply didn't have time to deal with before the early access launch, or that are bugs we just never experienced in the beta. I mean, that happens because it's not possible to test every possible configuration of computer, and as beta testers, we didn't have access to the Xbox version of the game. That was something the devs were testing internally. So anything you guys are experiencing, I know nothing about. At least to my knowledge, there weren't any Xbox beta playtesters, but I could be wrong. Of course, in their website, when you signed up for the playtest, they did ask you to specify whether you were on PC or Xbox. So more than likely, I'm wrong, and it was playtested, but I just wasn't aware of Xbox itself. So I'll say that. But yeah, as far as the devs being good at patching things, they've been very quick about fixing things that we're contending with. They are also very appreciative of feedback. So if you have suggestions for the game or you've encountered bugs, let them know. You can go to any of their socials. They're active on most social medias, and you can go to their official Discord. And in their official Discord, you can easily get in contact with the devs there. But they want to hear your feedback. They want to know what you think will improve the game. And if you encounter a bug, they want to know about it because they want to patch it. They are very passionate about this game. They have been working hard on it. And it has come a long way, as I can attest to being in the beta. Tons of bugs have been fixed. For people who are upset about this version of the game being a little buggy, guys, it's an early access. It acknowledges before you purchase and when you first start up the game that bugs are to be expected. The game is still technically in development, and you are buying it at a reduced price for playing early access. People who buy this game at 1.0 release, once the bugs are dealt with and features have been added and the game's more or less complete, not that they won't continue to update it, but they've added everything they intend to add for their full release, then the game will be more likely more expensive. So please be kind to the devs, guys. They are working hard. They are doing their best. And I've seen them do some really great things, add really great features, fix some gnarly bugs. They've done really good work. You guys are seeing a much cleaner version of this game than what I personally experienced up until the very end of the beta. So this game is coming along nicely, and I suspect... Okay, so this is Pineapple Power, which is really good. It buffs you dramatically for healing by eating a pizza slice. There are strats for doing this that I've talked about before in previous streams on Twitch, but I'll mention it here for you guys on YouTube. If you go to the pizza maker on the catamaran, on the Mark 1 catamaran, and I would keep a fire extinguisher on you, and then what you're going to do is you're going to cook a pizza, but you're going to overcook the pizza, and when you overcook it, it causes the pizza to be burnt, which burnt pizza heals only 5 HP as opposed to much more with a properly cooked pizza. And by overcooking the pizza, the processor making the pizza will cause fires to start on the ship. 3 fires right around the bar. And if you allow yourself to take damage from those fires before you put them out, then use the fire extinguisher in your hand to put them out, then eat the pizza, you will heal HP, which will stack with this buff. And you can do that as long as you have materia. It costs 5 materia to cook a pizza. Your ship hull will take damage from the fires, small amount, so bear that in mind. But you can get yourself, if you get this fully upgraded to level 5, and you get yourself to, say, a 200 plus bonus, then this Mark II halberd I'm holding right now can one-shot enemy gunships in space. And that's just bonkers. I mean, you can literally just snipe them out of space with handguns. So that's pretty cool. Unfortunately, the Dart does not have a pizza maker, so I can't display that right now or demonstrate it. Take less damage after you destroy an enemy ship. That's good. Consumables last 100% longer. I don't have any real use for that particular artifact because I don't really use the consumables that much in solo play. If it were multiplayer, that would be one thing. And I'm going to go ahead and power up the resonant amplifier, and it's going to give another spot to the grid redirector. And if I get another artifact, it will power that up as well. This one, how many jumps do I have left? It's possible to get an artifact there, so I'm just going to go ahead and feed this to one of the less damage. That is probably where I'm going to go, because that'll just increase my damage, make things faster for me. Alright, let's grab ammo. Is this topped off? No. Okay. Alright, let's prepare the shields. So this is the kind of time that you repair the shields, when things are idle. I would recommend not doing it in the middle of combat. Think of them as a temporary start of the fight buff. Alright, I have grabbed the cash. I can call in a resupply. I don't think there's anything to be had other than that. I think I've gotten everything out of this area. So we'll just check. Small ship repair kit. Small ship repair kit. Mark II side clip. I'll demonstrate the side clip for you guys. It's not a personal favorite, but I'll show it off so you know what it's about. There are people that absolutely love it. It's a very fast rate of fire, and it's pretty accurate. Burns through ammo quickly, but can do respectable damage because of its rate of fire. Alright, we're going to jump there. There will probably be ground units in this area that we're jumping to, so I'll be able to show the side clip here. Let's see, what's going to be easiest? Easy way is basically just go straight down to be able to get this jump point available. Right now it's behind a big rock. Alright. Now we can jump. We've got over 300 materials, so our tanks are half full, so that's good. And I do think one of my artifacts feeds off of the material filters, or the material tank being full, off its fill rate, so we'll check that. If it is, I'll see if there's anything I can scrap. But I believe it's that one I've upgraded with. No, because that was power grade. Okay. Is there one? No. No. Okay, none of those are do anything based upon material. So there's no point
Over here.
scrapping anything I don't need to scrap. You can just save it for credits. Like I said, I only scrap things when I need the material, or if I have an artifact that gets buffed based upon your material fill amount, because materia does not carry over once the mission ends. It is an in-mission specific currency. Once the mission ends, you lose it. It does nothing for you after that. So there's no point in crafting more. There's no point in having more in your inventory than you're going to need. Whereas components, things that can be broken down for materials such as the scrap, you see they also have a credit value. You get 10 credits a piece if they are on your ship when the mission ends. So while those are good for scrapping, if you need the material, I wouldn't do it if you don't need it. Okay, that's everything in here. These little crash buoy things, they usually don't have much. They're still worth checking, because you can find sometimes some really good stuff in them. They might have like one really powerful weapon in them sometimes, but so worth checking, but it's very rare for them to have much more than one or two little things. Alright. So the way this little ring works is there's tons of little landing points, and you can just skip between them and grab goodies. Okay, this one has nothing. Next one is this way, and I recommend flying. The ring is rotating, so I recommend flying against rather than with the rotation, because you'll make a lot more progress a lot faster that way. Alright, what do we got? Material container. Artifacts. I didn't really see what it was. I'll take a look at it in a minute. Shield unit. So when they have a green light on the door of the lockers, they can be opened. Red cannot be opened. And lockers will usually have little amounts of materia and credits in them. Okay, materia and creds. Nothing else. In these safe sectors, you don't usually expect to find a whole lot of goodies. Typically, loot scales based upon the difficulty of the area. So when it's a safe area, that's like 0 difficulty, so don't expect to find a lot of good things, but you might find 1 or 2 little nice things. I would have gone to a more difficult sector for loot specifically, but in order to get the galaxy map, I had to come this way, so this was my only option. And plus it gives me a chance to demonstrate what they're like for you guys. They're usually quiet. Sometimes they'll have a few ground units. Nothing too... This has no credit value, right? No. It's only good for scrapping for materia. Heal 3 player health on melee strike. You know what? I don't generally care about that one, but I'm not going to get any more artifacts between now and the final jump, so I'm just going to install it and take advantage of it. It can be very powerful. In the right build, like this, combined with the artifact that makes it so you do a lot of which one was it? It was this one, right? Yeah. This combined with the artifact that makes it to where you do a lot of extra melee damage when you have a pizza slice in your hand, and then have a pizza slice in your inventory when you're on foot, and then your melee damage does tons. I don't even think you have to use the pizza slice, you just have to have it in your inventory. So, although it is pretty funny slapping things with a pizza slice, but your guns melee damage should do... Oh, I haven't seen that animation. But I don't usually use this weapon. Your gun's melee damage should be buffed, and then you would get the healing bonus from this on top of that. So you just go around bashing everything and getting heals. Pretty cool stuff. Alright. Now, like I said, I am going to demonstrate the side flip. Hopefully I don't forget to pick my halberd back up before I jump out and end the mission. I don't want to lose that. Alright, so there is materia drops that you can see ahead, here and here. I don't really need them right now, so I'm just going to ignore them and start shooting ships. So as soon as I clear the ships, there's a sniper unit. I don't usually bother with the scanners when I come to this particular mission, because I already know what needs to be done. Drop the enemy ships, and you're on a time constraint, so deal with it. Okay, heavy fighters are down, that sniper is down, Corvette is there. What is this? Another sniper. Okay, that we need to deal with. Alright, save my boost. Okay, he goes down before I needed it. Now let's go get the Corvette. Now, I probably won't have time to board the Corvette and grab the component from it. Oh, it's gunship. Didn't see that. Alright, I probably won't have time to board the Corvette. And grab the component, unfortunately. If you're playing with friends, you can multitask. As I'm solo. Okay. You can go down now. Okay, that seems like a bit of a bug. Alright, well, the mission is progressing. I need to get down and heal the shields. I'm just going to take the same strat I took in the artillery mission. Buddy can take care of the ship. Alright. And spider tank over there. Let's see how this cyclone does against it. Now I do have this. Here, another heavy. Now, because of the recoil on this, it is a little difficult to hit the weak point, but the way radiation works, like what these here, as you can see that little green bar, it does no damage. Another spider. Okay. It does no damage until that bar maxes out, and then it instant kills you. So, standing in radiation, not a good idea, but if you have to pass through it, just be quick, not a big deal. Okay. Okay, got a weak point hit. Now remember, you can start the energy counter and then duck behind cover and sit in the corner here where I'm most likely to get shot. Last counter should be in this area here, but it's probably friends. Yep, there's friends. Hi, friend. Okay. Let's see, what do we got? A Maw. Mark 3. Oh, that's nice. And I'm just going to keep moving so he has a hard time hitting me. Oosh. Okay, he's right on top of me. That's not good. I'm not worrying with that stim. I'm just going to heal with the ship. I don't have time. Because as you see, in 4 seconds, enemy ships spawn in. And they'll start hammering me and the friendly. Oops. Got a little impatient there. Alright. Now these laser freighter things, deal with those first. Unfortunately, it doesn't show you how close you are to them, so you most ships show you range. Ah, right now this one is showing me range. Okay. Oh no, that's the Corvette. It's showing me range. I don't know why they don't show range. So you don't know when you're in, but they have very little HP. They go down fast. So, but they do a ton of damage. So drop them first, because if they take out the freighter, you're in trouble. Fortunately, I got that before the shields were even dropped. Now, if the shields drop, it is not the end of the mission. The freighter actually has a lot of hull health, so even though the shields go down, it's got a little bit of time before you have to be overly concerned, but nonetheless, don't waste time with taking out the lasers. And right now, I'm not worried in the slightest about conserving materia. I have more than enough, and this is the final jump. Okay. And materia, like I said, doesn't do anything after the mission's over. It wipes, so Alright, this is on the side of the ship this time. Right here. Stop off ammo. I'm expecting heavies. Let's take that. Actually, you know what? I don't want to lose that maw, so we'll just take that and use it. Got a heavy. This is risky. But it worked! I did take a little damage doing that, though. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but... I hear a laser. Where is it? Over there. And I could probably just ignore it. I'm also going to ignore that heavy. High. Right, it's up here. These I can't ignore. Okay. Shield repaired. And then back to the ship. And then enemy ships will be coming in. Alright, now, like I said, deal with the laser things first. They're glass cannons. They hit like a truck, but they don't move, and they have very little health. Just for some reason, you can't tell how close you are to them. Which may be intentional, make them more difficult. I don't know. Okay. So, the biggest threats are down, now I just gotta clean up the enemy ships, and then the mission will cut to a cutscene. Okay, all that's left is a Corvette. And like I said, I won't have time to loot the Corvettes because we will cut to a cutscene. So before you take out the final ships in the mission, make sure that anything you want to keep is in your inventory because it will be lost if you do not. Okay. And that's the mission. Alright. Alright, guys. I am going to wrap it up there. I'm just going to make sure everything's in order in the hangar and then I'm going to sign off. I appreciate everybody who joined and commented, asked questions, etc.
I'm impressed by how you handled the last few missions. Nothing seems like reminds me of my sister. I just hope that one thing.
So we now have all the reactors. There are the split reactor, the solid state reactor, the materia scatter reactor, and the null wave reactor. That's cool. We'll have all the multi-turrets soon. The only thing left is the mining laser, which goes there. For cannons, the bolt accelerator goes here, and the laser gun, I forget what it's called, goes there. Otherwise, I have the rapid pulse cannon, and I've got the fragment cannon, and I'm going to go ahead and start up. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna save for fully upgrading the Lance railgun. That'll be fun, especially since it's the only special I got right now. I'm gonna take a look around, see if anybody's got any objectives for me. Not currently. So, this is everything I have unlocked so far. I'm looking forward to the combat suit. Like I said, that's my personal favorite. I love this guy. He's a freaking nut. He was not in the demo, but he is an excellent addition. Alright, cool deal. Last thing I'll show you guys how to get to the ship in the hangar. You grapple here, you do the tech I talked about, or you jump, and then jump, and you make it to the hangar. Alright, I got it first try that time. Alright, cool deal. Also, dying in the hangar no longer makes you lose your weapons. It did for a while there. So, cool deal. Alright. Okay. Thanks for joining, guys. Boz, hurry up and fix this the soccer ball, would you? Football, whatever you want. Whatever you call it where you are. Let's get that fixed. Alright. We got several components there. We have 3 left. We have 4 map chart fragments left to find. That will unlock Kryn and this area, which oddly is clipped. Okay. I'm actually gonna the Acarian reaches. I'm gonna show that. That's probably a bug. Send that to the devs. At any rate, cool deal. I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate everybody joining. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will be streaming again this week. Probably streaming several times this week. Plus, I have several tutorial videos planned. Since I did put over 100 hours in the beta, I am familiar with how all the components, artifacts, etc. work. And I plan to walk you guys through how all that is. Yeah, and what you can do with it, different build ideas. And of course, if I miss anything, please put it in the comments. I want to hear it. I'm sure others want to hear it. If you have something that works better than what I suggest, then I want to hear it. Put it there. At any rate, I hope you guys are going to have a great day, and I'll catch you later.